I'm going to read you a story about getting bigger. We've learned about how plants grow, how caterpillars grow to butterflies, and this is a book about how people grow. So this is called Bigger by Daniel Kirk. And there's something kind of special about the words and the pictures in this book, so see if you notice while we're reading. Okay? Once I was very small. I was so small that I was hardly even me. This is when he was in his mom's belly. But every day in the darkness of my mother's womb, I grew. I grew bigger and bigger and bigger until I was born. I pushed hard with my little arms and kicked hard with my little legs, and guess what? I got bigger. Bigger, right? I kept growing when the sun shone and by the light of the moon. Even though I did not know how to walk or talk or dress or feed myself, there was always one thing I knew how to do: grow. Now he's a bigger baby than he was. Nothing could stop me now because I was getting bigger. My, how you've grown, people would say. What a big boy you are. And I knew they were right. They were right because when I stood next to the table, I could see what was on top of it instead of just underneath. I could stand on my toes and touch the doorknob and the telephone and the light switch on the wall, even though I wasn't supposed to. You start reaching new things. That's how we knew you're getting bigger. Boxes were filled with my old shirts and coats and pants and shoes because they did not fit me anymore. Only big clothes would fit me now. I took big steps, ate big meals, and used big words. I slept in a big bed and went to a big school. I played with big toys and bigger boys. Sometimes I didn't like it when other kids played with my toys, but I was getting bigger, big enough to share. And as I got bigger, my world began to grow. I learned the names of animals I'd never seen, and then I went to see them. I saw the houses all around my own and the people who lived in them. I learned their names, and they learned mine. I learned about the oceans and the mountains and the stars in the sky 1,000,000 miles away. So as you grow bigger, you also learn more, right? Everywhere I looked, I saw my world getting bigger, and everything I saw I took inside, and I was big enough to hold it all. He's so big he hardly fits in the picture anymore. Once I was very small. I was so small that I was hardly even me. But there in the darkness, before I knew my own name, before I ever saw my mother's smiling face or held my father's hand, was a promise. It was the promise of everything that I am and everything that I will be as I grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Did you notice what happened to the words and the drawings? Like in the beginning of the story, they're very small, right? And as we go on, the picture gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But also look at the letters, and the words are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay? And that's neat, huh? Is that a good little thing that author and illustrator did? So I'm going to talk to you about the discussion words. Sorry, I paused the video for a minute. We're going to talk about the discussion questions as part of this video since I actually had this book at home. We didn't have to do a special separate read aloud. So the questions to think about for this story are: how is the boy at school similar or different to you at school? So think about when we were at school. But do you remember in the book, he said different things that he did at school in ways he felt at school. So you have to think about how that's same or different from you. Also, I want you to think about how is the boy getting bigger, similar, or different from the ducklings, and make way for ducklings. So think back about those little ducklings and see how is it similar or different.